Growing up without emotional love doesn't only affect you as a child. It reshapes the brain in ways that quietly follow you into adult life. When emotional warmth, affection, or validation were inconsistent or missing while you were young, certain patterns tend to remain. There are 5 in particular that show up again and again. Let's break down what's really going on. Quick note, if this kind of psychology content speaks to you, follow the channel and leave a comment about where you're watching from. It helps keep Psychology Secrets going. Now let's get into it. Developmental psychology tells us this. When a child grows up without steady emotional care, whether through neglect, emotionally distant caregivers, or love that had to be earned, it creates what are known as attachment wounds. These don't disappear with age. They influence how you view yourself, how you relate to others, and how you navigate everyday life. Here's how those wounds often show themselves. First, you may become hyper-aware in relationships. Early on, your nervous system learned that love could be taken away or changed without warning. As an adult, this shows up as constantly watching for signs of rejection. You analyze messages, notice tiny shifts in tone, and prepare yourself for someone to pull away, even when the relationship is healthy. It's draining, but it isn't irrational. It's a survival response that once helped you adapt to emotionally unstable environments. In psychology, this is called anxious attachment, and it develops from inconsistent caregiving. Your brain is still trying to predict outcomes it couldn't control back then. Second, you may struggle to accept love or praise. When someone compliments you, your instinct might be to feel uneasy, dismiss it, or doubt their sincerity. This happens because growing up without love often creates a deep negative belief about yourself. Somewhere inside, the message formed, "I'm not worthy of love." When kindness shows up later in life, it clashes with that belief. It feels unfamiliar, even wrong. Your mind rejects positive feedback because it doesn't align with your internal narrative. This creates a painful loop. You long for connection, but can't fully receive it. Sometimes you even distance yourself from people who treat you well because their care feels unsettling rather than safe. The third pattern is you become a high achiever or a chronic people pleaser. When love was conditional in childhood, you learned that your worth depended on performance, so you strive, overextend, and aim for perfection. You tell yourself that if you accomplish enough, help enough, or prove yourself enough, love will finally come. But it never satisfies the deeper wound, because love was never meant to be earned. Psychologists describe this as an attempt to create security through achievement, and it's exhausting. There's no finish line, because external approval can't repair an internal sense of unworthiness. The fourth pattern is emotional numbness. When love felt unsafe or unavailable, your brain may have learned to shut feelings down as protection. Not feeling meant not getting hurt. Over time, this can lead to difficulty accessing emotions at all. You may feel detached from yourself and distant from others. Connections can feel shallow, not because you don't care, but because caring once came with pain. So your nervous system learned to stay neutral. This is often referred to as emotional blunting or dissociation. It's frequently misunderstood because outwardly you might appear fine, while internally you feel disconnected. Finally, there's a deep fear of being a burden. If your needs were ignored, minimized, or treated as inconvenient when you were young, you learned to shrink yourself. As an adult, this shows up as constant apologizing, avoiding asking for help, and hiding struggles. You'd rather deal with everything alone than risk inconveniencing someone else. At some point, you absorbed the belief that your needs and emotions were too much. But psychology is clear on this. Having needs doesn't make you a burden, it makes you human. The people who made you feel otherwise were wrong, and this belief can be unlearned. If you recognize any of these patterns, you're not broken. These were adaptations, ways your mind and body learned to survive an environment that didn't meet your emotional needs. Awareness is the first real step toward healing. For more deep dives into psychology, attachment, trauma, and human behavior, follow Psychology Secrets and check out the resources linked below. No filler, just clear, honest insight.